Hare Krishna, this is Krishnendu Das, founder of Successful Vaisnavas and the Empower and Preach membership site. I'm here today at Waiheke Island. I'm at my mother's holiday home. Let me show you what it looks like. It's a nice beach here. Sun's starting to go down. Just sort of scan the beach, you can get an idea. It's quite a beautiful place. We just sort of scan our way around here. This opens out into the ocean. And yeah, it's the end of been quite a nice day. It's been, when we first arrived, it was super sunny, and then the rain came down. Welcome to the material world. And now it's just quite calm. We actually had a program here. Wow, it was 2010, I think. That's like maybe 2011. So we're basically looking at 6 or 7 years ago. And I'm planning to make a case study about some of the ways that we marketed that program, because we had a really good turnout and a really good response for the program that we held that day. And I thought it would be interesting just to share my approach to promoting that program, and might give you some inspiration or give some ideas. And so on related to that topic, I'd like to talk about today association, and particularly networking. How we know in Krishna consciousness that association is so important, and the people that we surround ourselves with are the ones that really shape us. You know, in personal development circles, they say that your wealth is determined by the 5 people that you associate most with, and if you average their income, that will be what your income is, and this kind of thing. And we know that this is a key principle of sadhu sangha in Krishna consciousness, that if we want to be successful in anything, we have to find people who are also successful at that and serve them, learn from them. We need to find people who are on the same path as us, you know, who are at a similar level, and become friends with them. And we also need to teach. You know, the last Facebook Live I was speaking about the importance of teaching and becoming a mentor to others. It's a benefit for the person who becomes the mentor, as well as, of course, a benefit for the person who is learning from the mentor. So today, I guess my focus would be on the middle level of the Vaishnava etiquette. Not so much, you know, learning from the ones who have, you know, achieved greatness, or, you know, way ahead of us. Not so much the teaching part of it, but more about the collegiality, the friendship that we have between equals or similar. Oh, there's my mum. Wave. We're on Facebook.
Hello.
She's my mum. She's the one that sort of looks after me and gives us these cool places to come and stay. So, yeah, talking about collegiality really, and friendship that we develop in Krishna consciousness. And so reflecting on some of my experience personally, there's been times when I've been in an environment which was not very inspiring. There was times when I was at the temple and I really wanted to do book distribution. I was really motivated to preach and to do something. And that interest came by associating with Prabhupada from his books. And there was one particular devotee who really took interest and inspired me to do that, and that was Damodar Prabhu. And then later on, Brigupati Prabhu also helped me to keep that inspiration. I'll get back to Brigupati actually a bit later. So Damodar Prabhu really inspired me, and I went out and I did book distribution. There's a funny story. One time I had an exam, and I was thinking to myself, okay, go to my exam. After the exam, I'll do book distribution. So my whole consciousness was on the afternoon, how I was going to do book distribution. And somehow in my mind it got confused, and I thought my exam was in the afternoon. So I turned up for my exam in the afternoon, and oops, the exam was all over. It was in the morning. It was a university exam, so I had to go back to university for a whole another year just because of that paper. Well, there was also one other paper I flunked, so I guess it wasn't just that particular exam. But anyway, I went out and I started distributing books, and I remember on that particular day, I had the whole afternoon to myself, and I remember I met a nun, and she was spending some quiet time in the domain, you know, in the park, and I went over to her, and she bought a So she was a Christian nun, maybe Catholic or something, and she bought something like the Teachings of Queen Kapila, or the Teachings of Queen Kunti, I think. So that was really cool. What was my point here? Got a bit distracted by that story. So Damodar, he really inspired me, and I went out by myself, just by his inspiration. He wasn't even in Auckland anymore, he had left, but the inspiration that he gave me, he got me fired up. So I guess in one sense he was, a mentor. He was, definitely a few steps ahead of me, but his mood was a very friendly mood, and it was a certain amount of collegiality as well. And then I had that enthusiasm when he left, but the environment in the temple changed, and basically they were like, oh yeah, whatever, book distribution, we need money, just go and distribute prasadam at uni. And I got quite depressed because I wasn't in an environment where I was inspired, to do that preaching. So I ended up, okay. I actually got kicked out of the temple because I wasn't really helping the team to be inspired for the program that the temple had in mind in Auckland. So I went to Christchurch and I teamed up with Amiatma Prabhu, and I was able to go and do book distribution with a few boys down there, and it was awesome. I got really inspired again. And then after that I had the chance to travel with my Guru Maharaj, and so I just grabbed that. So anyway, that was just comparing the difference between a place where I wasn't getting the inspiration to do what I wanted to do, and finding another place where I did have an association that supported my desires, spiritual things that I wanted to do for Prabhupada's movement. So this is one thing we can look at, what's our day-to-day association like? And is it possible to make adjustments? I was a brahmachari, so easy to make the adjustments. When you're married, it's much more difficult to move here and there. You have to take your wife, your whole family. It's not always possible. Sometimes your husband and wife may not be that inspiring, or may not share your enthusiasm for your vision as much. And you can't just leave them. All right, so it is definitely helpful if you can, but it's not always possible. After I travelled with my Guru Maharaj again, let me think. No, even just before all that happened, I was also, Brigupati Prabhu was giving me his association just before the scene happened in Auckland when I got kicked out. But he had actually spent time with me and helped me to get inspired in book distribution. And then after I travelled with my Guru Maharaj, I also had the chance to do some book distribution with him. So that was really awesome. Now, so another type of and then another association which I found really inspiring. After I'd done book distribution, I began to get into education. And I had the association of Padmasambhava Prabhu, who's a Malaysian devotee that's in education and a very inspiring person. And then very soon I was working at the Hare Krishna school. So again, I had an experience where there was, a principal who I couldn't connect with, and it was very hard to get inspired. Even though I really was inspired to teach the kids, it was really hard to get anywhere when you're in an environment where the people are always suspicious about what you're up to, and you're not really on the same wavelength. So shortly afterwards, I went to live in Mayapur, and in Mayapur you got to spend some time and learn about different ways of education, different from how I was raised as a kid. And it was there that I met Prana Prabhu, and practically speaking, from 1999 to 2009, almost a straight 10 years, I was with Prana Prabhu, and we were on a very similar wavelength. And although he's 10 years older than me and much senior to me in many ways, we brainstormed together, and we really helped each other to come up with ideas, how we could educate the children better, how we could try to introduce new things, and just keep improving. And we inspired each other a lot in that way. So that was a really awesome type of association. Again, day-to-day association. At my wedding, Prana Prabhu had a funny statement. He says, "Oh, I've been with Krishnani for many years. I got married to my wife in 2004. So he gave the speech. Oh yes, we've been together for a long time. When we were in Mayapur, we used to eat together, we used to sleep together," and it just didn't quite sound right. What he meant to say is we shared a room, but, well, when I say room, it was actually a mud hut with a, grass roof, practically sleeping outside actually. But anyhow, we were spending good times together, and inspiring each other. And we moved from Mayapur eventually, and we were running the Hare Krishna school together for nearly 10 years. And every day we were just in contact with each other and communicating and inspiring each other. It was amazing. And then, eventually I left the school because I was just finding it too much to manage, all the planning and the assessment and the children's behavior. And I started to have my own children. So, I moved away from there, and, we lost touch a little bit. But I was just reflecting because yesterday, on a different kind of association, that's a really powerful form of association. And a different type of association I'd like to talk about, which is also really helpful, is going outside your normal group of friends that you associate with in general, that you're spending all your time with, and going out and meeting other people and getting new ideas. And this is one of the advantages you get if you go to seminars. Like in Mayapur, every 2 years they have this ISKCON Leadership Sangha. I've not been to it. It sounds like it would be a good idea, and it'd be cool if I went there. I'm sure I'd meet some really amazing devotees there. Because the trouble is that sometimes if we keep associating with the same people all the time, and we're reinforcing each other's ideas, and we've got similar nature, that's really great on a day-to-day basis for getting things done and keeping motivated. But there's a possibility that we might be missing out on new ideas that we can get when we reach out to new people. Just like yesterday, I rode my bike over to a meet up with another guy. He's a Christian businessman who has a web design business. So we get in touch with each other and talk about business. And by talking with him, his business is a little bit different from mine, and it gives me fresh ideas. And so I just found yesterday that we had a conversation, and we were talking about how we can make our business simpler by designing things in packages rather than every client that comes. We sort of start from scratch. Okay, so let me see, how will we design this website for this person? Rather we can say, okay, all right. So if you want to do a website, these are the packages we've got. We've got the base website. We've got these different modules that you can add on. And so talking with him, it gave us both some really good ideas how to simplify our business, make it easier for people to understand what we're presenting, and also to be able to scale that business. And how it relates with my plans is in this Successful Vaisnavas project, I've run a podcast. I'm setting up membership sites for devotees. And I've got a system that makes it easy for me to duplicate for other people. So if there's other devotees that have an interest in setting up a membership site, then I can just say, well, look, I can provide that service for you. I'll save you so much time and energy trying to figure out what platform to use, what plugins and tools and email service and all different technical elements. I'll just say, look, I've done it. I've done the research. I've got a system that works. I can provide it for you. So for me, it'll be quite an easy thing to do. For the other person, it'll save so much time and energy, and then we can have a really good win-win-win arrangement. That devotee can get their message out quickly. They can save themselves a lot of time and energy, and then in return, they can pay me to do that service, because they're knowing that, well, if they did it themselves, it would have cost them way, way more. So this is an idea that I had sort of thought about, but by talking with someone who I don't talk to every day, it just sparked an idea that came out. So just so that was just a thought. I've been working a lot with Jai Srila Prabhu lately, so that's been a day-to-day association. Almost every day, every night we get together and we're just checking that everything's ready for this book launch that's happening. The book's arrived from the printers and it's looking good. And we've set the funnel up, and there's just a few very small final touches to be done to get it to launch. And let me tell you, don't underestimate the amount of work that goes into these product launches and book launches and things. It seems very simple. Oh, put a few words in a paper, put it into a few chapters, go and get it printed, set up a website, and at every step there's these little details. The devil is in the details. So it's been a major endeavor, but it is seriously close. Within the next 2 to 3 days, I expect that we can get this whole thing up and running. So that's very exciting. And, that's day-to-day association. And then there's other people like and this businessman in Auckland who I meet up with. There's another one in Australia who's also got a business that's also shared some really good ideas that have helped me. So I think my point today is that find the association that inspires you. See if you can have a really good friendship with those people and keep the fire burning. If the people around you are not inspiring you, reach out to others. And if you can spend time every day, that's awesome, or on a regular basis, it'll really help. And whether you have that or not, I also recommend reaching out to other people, on a, maybe on a less regular basis, maybe every week or every month or whatever it is, just so that you can get some fresh ideas and a fresh perspective. And if you do get the chance, go to seminars, go to different events where you can meet different devotees, as well as people who are experts in the field that you want to develop. It'll really help you to get good ideas and help you get good ideas and get a fresh inspiration that you may not get, just working with your regular group of friends. So that's my message for today, and it's about collegiality. Find the people that inspire you. They don't have to be way advanced, more advanced than you. They can be on a similar level, because we can learn from everybody. And the more we can find people who are inspired by the same things as us, the more we'll be inspired, and the more we can serve Krishna in an inspiring way. So, find some good association and make your life successful. Hare Krishna.